Well, good afternoon everybody, how are we? I don't know who's in YouTube yet, but or in Facebook, but we'll see in a tick anyway. So, we're just continuing on from where we left off the other night, or the other day, sorry, Saturday. And I've actually glued up the boxes, so the boxes are ready for the next processes now to be done on the router here. I've prepared the lid and the lid frames as well, so we've got to do a bit of work to them as well. So we'll be doing that hopefully tonight. I will be jumping between the two boxes tonight again, because there'll be certain stages, certain parts that we'll want to do on both of them when I've got the router set up. But I've also done something a little bit, just to add a little bit of interest to the lid of the box as well. I've put little bow ties, or little butterflies as people call them, into the lid. So anyway, we'll have a look at that, and we'll be doing some of the other machining just here on the router bench. So anyway, welcome back to TF Custom Shaving Brushes Workshop. How are we all? Let me go and see who's all in the channel, eh? So we've got Amber in there. Good afternoon to you, Amber. How are you? Brett, how you doing, buddy? So it looks like it might just be the three of us so far, but anyway, we're not going to hold on, we're going to get stuck into this. So I managed to find a way of doing the butterflies on this jig as well without any other jigs. So I'm going to do one of the frames now just to show you how we can do the butterflies with this jig as well, and then we'll move on to the other processes from there. I've got to do a fair bit tonight, or try and get through a fair bit. Now I'm probably going to go for about 2 hours, and then 2 hours I think we'll call it a night, depending on where we are, if not in the middle of something that needs to be done. So yeah, we'll see how we go anyway, but we should get a fair bit done. And the boxes are actually starting to come up quite nice. They're starting to take shape now. So Cobbs, how you doing, buddy? Welcome to the channel, mate. Right, so let me just see if I can get a better shot on. Let me see if I can get a better shot on this jig. Yeah, that. We'll maybe go to camera 2. I'll maybe zoom out on that a little bit, just so you can see a little bit more on the table there. And I'll just change the cameras for you. So we'll go to camera 2, which is that one there. And we've got camera 3 in the little one there anyway. So what you'll see is, what I've done is I've moved this stop on the Gifkins jig, I've moved it along to this end of the jig. And as part of the kit that I bought, I got these laminated, well, there's a couple of squares. This one's a 45, and then I think there's a 60 and a 30. So the 45 one, I was thinking about it today, and I thought, I know that Gifkin actually do a little jig setup for this, but pretty much what I've done here is going to do the same job, I hope. Okay, so far so good. I've done one lid, and I'll show you that in a little minute, but we're going to do the other one now. So what I've done is I've brought this blue plastic stop along to the end, I've tightened it off, I've brought my 45 square in, I've positioned that up against the stop here and clamped it. And what I've done is I've set this up so that basically, if I grab, these are the frame for the panel lid that we're going to be doing. So if I grab one of these, and bearing in mind that these have all got face marks on them, so I'm working to the same edge on the timber every time. So you'll see what I do here is I just bring that piece of timber in now. That stop might just need adjusted out the way a little bit. Makes the timber a little bit tight for getting in and out, so I'll just have to play around with that a little bit. That'll do it, I think. Yep, that's got it. So in effect, what I've done is I've positioned the centre of that, or near enough the centre of that timber for the mitre cut, on the centre of one of these slots, which are the dovetail slots. Okay, and the fact that that's on 45 in the jig now we're actually cutting 90 degrees to this mitered edge here. That mitered edge is a 45, obviously this is 45. And now what I'm going to do, I've already set this cutter because I've done the other ones earlier today to try it, and it worked a treat on those ones, so I'm hoping it's going to work a treat on these ones. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my clamp on there now and just tighten it up so that it's nice and tight. The timber's held in place. I'm just going to check that now, make sure that everything's nice and firmly down, which it is. We're up against the stop here. So now I'm going to turn the router on. Let me get back to YouTube. And all I'm going to do now is bring that in nice and slowly on that middle slot. And just bring it straight out again. Now, because we're registering off that same face mark every time, so all I've got to do now is take that one out, flip it over, end for end. We're still registering off the same surface as we were before. Actually, I'm going to loosen that because it's just a little bit too tight. That's all we need, is there. Just check that that's all in position again, up against the square, tight down on the jig. And just do the same again. So what I've done is I've just improvised with what I had, and it seems to be doing the job quite nicely. As you can see there's a couple of nice, if I hold that over the white there, you'll see it better. There's a nice little dovetail key in the miters. Now it looks like that one's slightly offset, it's not quite centre. So this timber must have been a slightly different size to the other lid, which I think it was anyway. So, but it doesn't matter because it's just a decorative part on the top of the lid. Okay, so that's one done, and as you can see, they were both registered off that face mark. You might not see that face mark because it's in pencil. So they should all be equally the same distance. So now we just make sure that's clean, do the same again, bring that one in, keep it against the jig until we, or against the square. And there we are. Just give it a check, make sure that it's right down, up against the square, which it is. Turn on the router again. That's another one done. Take it out, flip it over. Yeah, so like I said, I've just improvised with a jig and made it work for the purpose that I wanted to make it work for. So, and it seems to have done the job. So far I'm quite happy. other one done. Now we'll do the little short ones. So it's a little bit of a slow process, but it's actually going to do quite a nice job, hopefully. I still have to cut the little splines that are going to make the little bow ties, which will be done in a lighter timber. So they'll stand out on the box and just put a nice little bit of decoration to the lid of the box. There's that one done. So again, we just flip it over end for end. Make sure it's clean. Next one. That's that one. So all we're doing is locking it against the stop and the base plate at the same time. Give it a check. Yep, all good. And as you can see, it's not a hard process, it's all nice and easy with a jig. I'll just give it a check. Yep, up against the jig, down against the base plate. And that's us done with that process now. So I'll just show you them. So I can actually take that out now, because that's us done with that complete process now. So I'll just put them back in there, move that out the way. Right, so there we go. So I can put that jig out the way now, because we won't need that for a while now. In fact, I don't know if we'll need it at all now, because we've done all the dovetails in the boxes. And we don't need that anymore, but we'll keep that here handy. So just let me get rid of some of this dust around here. So what we've got now is, if I go to the, I'll take that bit out of there so I don't cut myself like I did the last time. Okay, because we're finished with that one now. Now, as usual with these bearing bits, you should always make sure you get all the dust out. because they're not a sealed bearing. So get all the dust out, and then just one drop of sewing machine or really thin oil. I just use the 3-in-1, and just one drip inside the bearing there, and let that work its way down in the bearing. So now that bearing is clean of sawdust and it's lubricated, ready for the next time. Okay, so that can go back in its little pouch now, which is that one there. So that's a lot smaller a dovetail bit than the last one that we used to do the dovetails on the box. So let me just take you back to camera 1 there. So let me take that out. So there's the box that we done, or one of the boxes that we done last week. So there's your dovetails. Come up really nice. Then we routed the little feet in the bottom. We put the panel base in, which is red cedar, the same as the two short ends. We've got our celery top front and back. And what I've done today is I prepared a lovely piece of tiger myrtle barrel, which is that piece there. Now let me go to camera 2 for that. So that's going to be the panel, the raised panel lid. So that'll sit in between those pieces that we've just cut the little bow ties, butterflies in. So it's a lovely piece of wood. T-Man, how are you, buddy? Welcome back. So let me just show you this little frame though, before we get too carried away. So that's the box, that's the lid, and this is, well, that's the panel for the lid, and this is the frame for the lid. Okay, so this frame, keeping all my face marks to the inside, and how good is that? Perfectly mitered with little bow ties in the corners. And what will happen is that lid will sit in that centre area there. So if I sit that on top, it might not. No, it's not going to sit there for me. If I do it, no, I can't do it that way either. You'll probably just, yeah, it's not going to sit properly anyway because we need to cut slots and stuff in. But that's basically what's going to happen. So that lid will get framed off all the way around like that. Obviously the miters will come together. The panel will be recessed into a trench in the panel, and we're going to put a nice detail around that as well. So that's, you know, that's the lid coming together. Okay, so let us continue on because we've still got a fair bit of routing processes that we've got to do to both the boxes. So I'm going to be working with this one first. I'm going to sit them over there, I'm going to sit the panel over there, and we're going to do a few processes to this one here, okay, tonight. And we might get some done on the other one depending on how we go time wise. Okay, so what I need is I need the tenon cutter, which is this one here. Actually no, I don't need the tenon cutter first up. I need my spiral bit. So just give me 2 seconds till I go and get my spiral bit. I had it out the other night. I need that one. Okay. Oh, by the way, I'll show you the other box because I've got the lid, the frame sitting on top of the box. So you'll get to see. Let me just grab it and let you see. So there you go. That's what the box is going to look like. Well, this one is anyway. It's going to be like that with the dovetails in the corners, as you can see there. We've got our little feet on the bottom to create a shadow line when it sits down on the top of something. We've got our frame panel lid there. I can let you see that with the little bow ties in the corners. And we've got our panel inside which will get recessed into that frame. Then that frame will need to be glued up the same as we've done with the box. So I'll do the glue ups offline probably, because you know, you don't need to see all that stuff happening, but probably the rest of the stuff you want to see. So what I'm going to do now is just put this bit in here. It's a 1/2 inch spiral bit, so it's a big bit. Just make sure it is tight. Yep. And what we're going to do with this one is we're actually going to use this for the boxes are sitting flat, okay, so there's no rocking in the boxes, as you can see there. That noise, that rattle that you're hearing is just the bass, because that needs to be kind of loose for movement, but there's no rocking in the base, so the feet are perfectly flat. So what we need to do now is we need to surface this edge and this edge to make sure that it's parallel with the feet, right? Parallel with the feet, and each of these are on the same plane as one another, okay? So what we're doing now is we're going to set up for that, and how we do that is we just use a solid fence for that one, for this one. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to turn that bit around so I get a cutting edge. I'll probably need to lower it down yet as well. And I just want that to be above that edge of the timber. So I don't want it just a little bit higher than that surface. Okay, and what I'm going to do now is I'm looking for the shortest distance on each of the 4 corners, and that's what we'll set the fence to. Okay, so we'll get our clamp ready, and all I'm going to do is wondering what shot's going to be best for you here. We'll try 4. Yeah, that might let you see. So what I'm doing is I'm putting the box. Actually, that's going to be a little bit of an issue there. I might have to use the other one, another fence. Actually, I'll put that one out the way. I'll just leave it screwed in. I'll get another fence, and we'll check it with a longer fence. Yep, that one should work. So what I'll do is I'll put this fence in, which is a longer fence, so I can feed in from the right end to trim the both the tops of those sides. So how are we all, mate? Corb, just found a Lay Super 24 jig on Facebook Marketplace for 225. Yeah, the Lays are good, mate, but they're a lot of hassle. They're totally different to this Gifkins setup. This Gifkins setup is so easy, where the Lays you've got a lot of mucking around, but they'll still do the job, but you've just got a lot more mucking around. I looked at them long time ago, and yeah, I ended up going with this one for that very reason. Okay, these are just so much more flexible. Right, now, so let me just get this reasonably tightened up here, and then we'll start checking the box for the shortest distance. Okay, so I don't know if you're going to see that there. You might see it this side. So what I'm doing is I'm pushing the fence back until it touches that edge. Okay, and then I'm checking this side. You see that one's smaller, so it's narrower there. So we'll bring that fence into that one. That's going to take a little bit off there. And we're probably just going to get a little bit there as well. Maybe just another little touch. And then what we'll do is we'll lock that off there with a clamp. Okay, so that's good there. That's good there. That should be good there. And that should be good there. Okay, so we just make sure everything's tight. That's tight, nothing's going to move. Let's just check that again. This one's still tightening. That's it, it's starting to tighten now. Okay, so with this, the cutter is spinning anti-clockwise. Now if we feed in from this end, what that means is it will drag your material into the cutter. Okay, if we come in from this end, the cut is going to actually hold it where it makes the cut in the initial contact with the material here. It's going to hold it against the fence. Okay, so what we do is we turn that on. Actually, I don't know if that's tightening there. Yeah, there it is. So we're going to turn the cutter on now. She's all locked up. I'm going to keep my hand well out the way. And we're just going to run it through nice and slowly. And all we've done is we've cleaned up that surface there. Okay, so now we're going to do the same on the other side. Hold it nice and flat to the table, hands away from the cutter. And all the way through, nice clean cut. Okay, so what we've done there now is we've made that, sorry, let me go to the head-on shot. So what we've done is we've made that and that parallel and the same distance on the feet. So that sits flat there. It should also sit flat there now, which it does. Okay. So the next step is we're going to put a little rebate inside here and a little rebate inside here, so that when we sit the lid down, when the lid sits on here, because these sides are higher than these two, front and back. Actually, I might even go to not camera 3 maybe. Not what camera is it? Camera 4. There we go. So as you can see, the front and back of the box, right, are a different height to the sides, and the lid sits on these lower sides and it'll finish flush on the top here. Okay, but what we've got to do now is put a little rebate down here and down here, so that when the lid shuts, it actually shuts on a little ledge in there. Okay, and what we're going to do for that one is we're going to use a tenon cutter for that one, which is another big bit, but it's the ideal tool for doing that sort of thing. Now that and that are parallel with each other, and they're also the same height from the foot to there now, because we've surfaced these surfaces accordingly. But we also still have to do these, but these will get done after we put our rebate cutter in to rebate this, because we'll also cut in with the rebate cutter into here and here and here and here, and then we can set our depth, and then we plane this surface and this surface up. so that it sits perfectly 10mm below that, or what the thickness of our lid is. Okay, so I hope I'm not losing you there, but yeah, that's where we've got to go now. Okay, so we'll set that aside. We'll bring this back up again, so we'll unlock it, bring it up. We'll take this one out. I actually tightened that up a little bit too tight. Oh, sorry, gone the wrong way. There we go. And that bit comes straight out. Now I'll put that away back in its box. Nice and clean. Okay. Right. So now we want the tenon cutter, which is this one. All right. And it's another big bit. Struggling to get it out the little packet here. You'd think they'd make bigger packets for these bigger bits, but oh well. Right, there's a tenon cutter. Okay. So this tenon cutter is a little bit different to some others in the fact that if I go to 3, you might see, let me get this in position here, you'll see that the cutter here is on a slant. Normally a tenon cutter has only got a very minimal slant on it. It's virtually a straight up and down blade. But what happens with these is you can cut, because we're going to be cutting, you can cut end grain and everything with these, because they act more of a shear cut, because the cutting edge has actually got an 8-degree slope on it. So it makes it a better cutter. But anyway, you'll see what we're going to do with that one in a tick. So we drop that in there, tighten up our collet, I like to make sure those big cutters are much tighter. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop that down, and that cutter actually fits in the hole in the table, so I can actually take it down lower, because I will need to take it down lower. We'll release our clamp again. Ugh. And this time what we're going to do is we're going to set this up. Again, you're not going to see it because I'm going to have my back. It's going to be fed in that way. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop that cutter down and get the height right first. So what we're doing is we're going to be checking it on the 4 sides again to make sure that we've actually got the lowest point. So again, what we're doing is we're sort of paralleling this side. Because we've already done the ends, the box is now sitting down on the ends, and we're going to parallel off them. So I'm just going to bring that cutter up till it is touching the with a micro adjustment, and I'm just bringing it up till we're touching the celery top timber, which we are there. Probably come down a little touch. Right, okay, and then I'm going to check it that side. Yeah, it's touching that side. Then we're going to take it round. We're going to see if it touches this side, which it does. And then we've got to check it that side, which it does. So we're pretty much good with that at that height. Now I'm going to check that height, and I'm going to check the height off my top, because at the end of the day, that's the height that I want for my recess for the rebite. And that is just above, so that'll be fine and dandy. All right, and these are all the same size because they were all run through the sander at the same time. So now I've got my height right. What I've got to do is I only want to cut like a mil and a half into there with a little rebate. So that's what I'm going to set now on the cutter. Okay. I only want a small rebate, I don't want a big rebate there. And I'm thinking possibly there. So what I'll do is I'll put the clamp on there and we can always run that through and try it. And if it's not where I want it, I can always make a little adjustment. Okay, so the same thing again, the bit's spinning anti-clockwise. So when I feed this through, I want that bit to push this side panel against the fence. If I come in this way, it's going to drag the timber in between the cutter and the fence, and it's going to cause the box to kick like that. So what I want to do is feed it in from this side again, and it should give us a nice little rebate in that side panel, and it should also parallel a section just here all the way through the box. You won't see this cutting, and neither can I once it goes inside the box, but we'll see it once it comes through the cutter and the cut's completed. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is just make sure everything's locked off. I'm going to fire up the router. Hands well away again on top of the box. Okay. So what you can see there, the rebate is not big enough. I want the rebate to be bigger. That's probably only about a mil there, so I probably want another mil or so on that. But you can see we've also taken a cut here and a cut here. And what that's doing is that's actually evening up and making these two edges parallel with each other. The distance from the top to the bottom of the foot, the sign, right? And it's also making these in the same alignment with the lid. The two side panels, sorry. So when this timber sits in there, as you can see there, it sits perfectly flat with the lid. Okay, so that's what we're achieving there. But this gets the box all square, parallel, all the edges are right. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that fence back a little bit. Closer to the cutter, because I want that trench, that rebate, just a little bit deeper. So we'll bring it into there and we'll run it through again and we'll see what that does, eh? Make sure it's nice and tight, make sure that's tight. Fire her up again. The same again. That's better. So we'll do the other side now. A bit loud when it's running. So now I'm going to use that same bit Just let me get back to, oh no, I can show you in this one. So you can see what we've done there now is we've taken a little bit of material out of here, when we've formed the little rebate. So you can see that, can you see that little rebate in there now? Just in there, it's only a narrow, small rebate, but it's enough that the lid will sit down on top of it, and the same on the other side. There you can see that one there better. Okay. There's the rebate there, so you can see it there now. So now what we're going to do is we're going to run freehand across the top of that bit, and we're going to plane that surface down and plane that surface down so that they're exactly the same height. Okay. And what we do this time, because we're not feeding between the fence and the cutter, what we do this time is we feed from right to left or left to right. It doesn't matter, because we're going to be going over the center of the cutter, and it's just going to form a planing cut as we go. Okay, so we're not going to be against the fence, we're just going to be coming in against the cutter and letting it do its job. So all we've done so you'll see what we've done there now is we've actually planed that edge perfectly flat, perfectly parallel with this, and now we're going to do that one. So again, you can see we've got the little recess there. And again, we're just going to run that through there freehand again. And that puts our box in perfect condition, square, parallel, everything else. So nice and slow, steady. And we're only going to where the train starts. So there we have it. So if I sit them in there now, that way, I know they're the opposites, but as you can see, they're perfectly flat with the top of the sides of the box now. And it's perfectly parallel, all the same size, all square, and every surface is parallel with the other. Okay, so we're now finished with that particular part now. Well, that cutter. Let me just sit the box over there for now out the way. We'll get a little bit of air on the matter here. Okay, any questions on that so far? All good? Right. So the next one will be a little half round. So what we're going to do, I'll show you in a minute. I'll get this out the way. Actually, I can probably leave that there because it's not going to be in the way, I don't think. No, it shouldn't be in the way. And I don't think it restricts you looking at anything. Just make sure it's tight and out the way, and I might put the clamp back on it just so that it doesn't move when we're routering. Okay, so now we'll take the lock off. We'll lift that up and take that cutter out because we're finished with that one now for this box. I'll give that a bit of a clean up. Always keep your router bits clean. There's nothing worse than your router bits getting all gummed up and then starting to rust. So yeah, always keep them clean if you can. Right, that's that one done. Right, now what I want now is I want a little round over bit, okay, which will be that one, I think. I think there's two different ones, but I think that'll be the one that we want. Yeah, that's the one we want. Just a nice soft round over. And this one has a bearing on it, so you basically run off the bearing, not off a fence. So yeah, just a round over bit, this one. I just thought I'd check just to make sure, but bearing's good. So we'll tighten that up. And what we're going to do now is we're going to take this box and we're just going to put a little round over on that edge of the side of the box, and the same on this side. Okay, so I'll drop that down now until we get the edge just below the table. And I can visually see that. And then what we're going to be doing is we're going to be rounding that over, that outside edge. Okay, and I am going to have to take that fence off because it's going to, the box is going to fall off the end here with the longer side, which will put the box on an angle. So I can't do that. I need to go that way. So I'll need to take that fence off, which is all good. So everybody's good. T-Man's making the coffee. Yeah, I'll have a coffee, mate. I didn't get a chance to have my dinner before I started the stream tonight, unfortunately. So I'll have to have my dinner when I go in, when we finish. But that's all right. Okay, I'll take the clamp off. I'll stick that over there for now at the Y. Okay, so what I'm going to be doing this time is I'm going to be feeding the box onto the bearing and feeding it that way, so into the cutter. Okay, but I just want to make sure that we're only going to get just a nice little round, and that edge is below the surface of the timber, which it is. Okay, so here we go. So what we do with this one is, because this one's got a bearing, what we do is we bring the side of the box in on the center of the bearing, right? Because if we go anywhere else, we could end up putting a little round over into here on the end. We don't want to do that. We just want the round over on this side. So what we'll be doing is we'll be feeding in to the center of the bearing here, and then we'll go straight through until we get to this corner, and when we get that corner to the center of the bearing, we pull off. So it's basically on, through, off on the center of the bearing. So let's do that. They've got a safety lockout on these on-off switches, and if you don't quite get it right, it doesn't stay on. Right, so onto the centre of the bearing, through to the centre of the bearing and off. Same with the other side, onto the centre of the bearing, through, centre of the bearing, and off. And now what we've got is a perfect little round over. If I can get to camera 3, I think it's probably, yeah, camera 3 will probably show it. So you'll see there, let me get into there. So you'll see there we've got a lovely little round over on the side of the box there now. And the same on the other side. So you can see the round over. Beautiful little round over. And again, the lid will sit in up against there and it just finishes off that end of the box. Okay. So we've paralleled, round over on. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put a round over on the insides and the inside top edge of each of these. Okay, so we can probably use that same round over bit, and this will just give us a nice roll into the panel of the lid once we do the panel of the lid. Okay, so what I'll do is we're going to be feeding these in, and it's going to be, that's our face mark, so that's the top of the frame, and that's inside of the lid on each of the 4 sides. So that's where I'll be putting the round over on. So what I'll do there, just so that I don't screw up, I'll put a little bit of chalk. Just let me get a bit of chalk. Where's my knife? I got rid of that massive big chalk and my wife managed to get me some smaller stuff, so it's much better for this. The other stuff was just too big and chunky. So this edge is the edge I want to round over on each piece. So the face mark to this edge, that's the top. This edge, that's the top. This edge, that's the top. Now this is just to make sure that I get it right and that I don't mess up and put one through the wrong way. Because if I put one through the wrong way, it stuffs the whole lid up. I'll have to cut another one then. Okay, so that's it. So we're going to put the round over on there, and what we're going to do again is we're going to use that point of the mitre. So this short point of the mitre will be our centre point on to the bearing. Then we'll push through, we'll get to the centre point and we'll pull back. Okay. Centre, pull back. Flip it over, go on to the centre of the bearing, pull through, centre of the bearing, pull off. Because you can roll over onto the mitre if you go too far. You don't want to do that. Right side, the small bit, centre of the bearing, push through, centre of the bearing, pull back. The same again, push on to the centre of the bearing, push through, centre of the bearing, pull back. So what that's going to do for us now is once our lid goes in here, I mean it won't sit there because everything's too big at the moment, but what that's going to do is we're going to have a round in this as well, all the way around the panel, and that will actually give us a nice little edge all the way around the panel lid. So rather than it just being square and plain, it'll be quite a nice little detail around the edge of the box, the lid of the box. Okay, now you can see the box, the lid is slightly oversized as well. That's done deliberately so that we can fit the lid to the box. Okay, so that'll all go in there, and obviously these ones are longer as well. So let's sit that there. So that allows us to fit that to the lid, to the box, sorry. Okay, but as you can see there, we get a nice sort of finished rounded edge to the entire box there. So let me just, so you can see that, rounded detail, and it marries up nicely now around the four corners. Okay, so that's another little job done. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put a rebate center in this piece here, okay, to take our lid. So that rebate again has to go in that center edge. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to put a white chop mark on each piece where I want the trench to be. He's all with me? Okay, now for this one, actually what I should do, before I do that, sort of bear with me guys, I might do the other lid as well while I've got that bit set up. Okay, so this was the other lid, and I've got tape on the bottom just to hold it together so that I could show you the little butterflies or the bow ties in the corners, the miters. Okay, I still have to cut the little butterflies yet, and I'm hoping to be able to do that on the router as well, and just make a timber spline, and I can dock that timber spline, set the little butterflies in with a lighter timber to match the front and back of the box, and then that should just put a nice little touch to the lid of the box, as well as the panel being in the box. So the panel's really what's going to, this one's not the right one, but the panels, I might as well go and get the right one, I suppose. 2 secs. And that panel will come up to the same height, obviously, as the frame, and then we'll have that little rollover in here, and we'll also have a rollover in the panel lid itself, so it should be quite nice. Okay, so I might as well do them while I've got that bit set there. I might as well do those, do that round over to this, and then that's basically both the frames done. With the round over, might as well do it with the same setup so that it keeps everything the same. All right, so we'll go again with these bits. So again, what I'm going to do is just put my mark on so I don't get it wrong. So that's the opposite one of that one, so that round over needs to be on that edge there. That one needs to be on that edge there. That one needs to be on that edge. And that one needs to be on that edge. Okay, so I'll start the router up and we'll just run them quickly through. Oh, nearly done it, see? That's how easy it is. Yeah, I nearly done that. I nearly screwed that one up. So there we go. Round it over. Little butterfly details in there. And everything matches up rather nicely. Okay, so we'll be able to run these through with the other ones when we put the trench in the inside as well. So we'll set up for that now, and I can take that bit out because we're done with that now. Okay, but what I'll do is I'll put my little chop mark on the inside edge so that we know that's the side that's getting the trench in it. Okay, so that's the other box, so we'll do that one first. That one belongs that one belongs there. I should bring that other box over actually. That's that one, and that's that one. Okay, so I'll take this bit out now. So again, we'll loosen it off, bring her up. Can't believe we've got no questions. Clean the bit. Rid of the dust and any gum. Should really get myself a little toothbrush out here. That's probably a better way of doing it again. We need a little drop of oil on that bearing. Just one drop, that's all it needs. Just to keep it lubed and free moving. And it's ready to use the next time. You don't have to worry about cleaning it and oiling it. Right, so that's that one done. So now we need the slot cutter. Now wait till you see this bit. So we need the slot cutter. I've got this one marked, slot cutter, 3.2mm. So I'm just going to lock that in now to the table. And you'll notice it's got a different slot in this side to what it's got on this side. Okay, and you'll see the reason for that in a minute. Okay, now let me get that screwed down. Close that down. I don't want Norton antivirus running in the background. Let me just get rid of that, guys. Settings. Okay. Close, close. And I should do the same over here. So we'll go there. Just bear with me for 2 secs. We're nearly there. Okay, done. Back to business. All right. Looks like my voice might be a little bit too high again still as well, eh? So let me just bring that voice audio down. How's that now? Still a little bit of clip there. How's that now? That's a bit better, right? Maybe still a little bit of clip. Might be on that one there. A little bit of clipping there. Just a tad. You can probably take it to about there. And I think we should be pretty right there, I think. Okay, we'll go back to switcher. Right. So, let's see where we are. Brett's back. Welcome back, Brett. I'll show you. You'll get a catch up in a little while, but we're going to put this slot cutter in now, which is a wild looking cutter, but it's a lovely cutter. Does a lovely job. How's that for a cutter? Aye? That's about 52 millimeters or something, I think it is. Don't have my tape there, but yeah, it's a fairly big cutter. So I'm just going to lock that up. Okay, so that's locked up. We'll be dropping it down. And I think what I'll do is I'll 3/6, that would give us 4 mil on the inside. So I'm going to drop that down to, I think round about 3 mil. I'll just check that with a rule. Yeah, so 3 mil will get us down on the round, and that'll leave us 4 mil for a recess. So I want 3 mil. Oh God, I can hardly see these measurements now with my eyes. One, two, three, maybe just down a little touch. One, two, three, up. I think I'm going to have to get a magnifying glass so I can see. When you need the precision. So, I'm not sure if that's going to fit in where my slot's already cut. Yeah, it's going to be pretty close. So that's good. Now I'll put that back in that box. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start the router up, and I'm going to bring the fence onto the cutter, because it may be in a slightly different position to where I had it when I set the fence up. So bear with me here. So I'm just going to feed it on. of that colour, nice and slowly, till it comes through the other side. Then I'm going to turn it off. Okay, now I can kind of lock everything in, but what I want to do is I want to try and get that so that I can see where the cut is in relation to what I'm doing, because I want that about 10 millimeters deep. Even if it's a little bit deeper, I don't really mind, because you want your panel lid to be. I'll go there, we'll try that first and we'll see how we go with that. So I'm just going to put that clamp on again on this end. Lock this end right down, and I'm going to go to camera 3, but I don't think it will show you. But you can see that big cutter now, there's nothing protruding anywhere out the back, it's all only on the fence side here. And if I go to camera 3, because it is a fairly dangerous bit, this one, if it's unprotected, but we've got it fully protected there. But what I have got is I've got 10 mil of that cutter sitting out this side, and I'm just going to double check that size, just to make sure, and it looks like we have. So we're locking this down now, making sure that's tight. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take each one of these and we're going to run it through once that way, turn it over, and then go that way. And what that will do is that will give us 3 mil on either side with a 4 mil rebite in the middle to take the panel lid. Okay, so here we go. Turn it over, do the same again. There's a fair bit of sawdust came out of that cut. That's alright, we can clean that all up tomorrow. So let me just get rid of all the shavings out of everything. Right, better blow off the laptop. Right, so what we've got now is we've got all our rebates and our roundovers are in, and our two lids. Okay, so now we can sort of start looking at doing the rebate for the panel lid now. So I can take this one away. She's a wild colour, isn't she? Look at that. These are all very quiet tonight. What's going on? Eh? All very quiet. And I think we're still clipping on the volume there, so I think what I'll do is I'll take that one down a touch like that, and we'll see how that pans out. It's a little better. Tiny little bit on the main volume, I think. Bring that main volume down just a little bitty. We'll see how we go there. That's too much. It's very touchy. We'll leave it there and we'll see how that pans out. Okay, so we've got that bit out now, that fence, sorry. So I can take that bit out because we're done with that one now. But isn't she a beauty, eh? Makes a beautiful cut though, nice clean trench. So clean the bit, clean the cut, call it. She's ready to be used the next time. Okay, we're getting there. We're getting through a fair bit tonight actually, which is good. Alright, we'll put the slot cutter one away for now. Now I've got to think about what we're going to do now. I've got to set up for this panel lid, I think. So we are probably going to use, let me just have a lookie. Yeah, the panel raisin colour is the one we want for that. So that's this one. So it's like the tenon cutter, but except it has rounded corners on it. And that's what's going to give us our nice edge around the panel that's going to be put in the lid. Okay, now if I've got my sizes right, hopefully, that should be in the middle there, that recess should be, actually that's a little bit undersized. About 3.5 mil we need left in the lid. And I think the lid is slightly too big at this point in time, so we will have to cut that down as well. Check that way. Both ways. We'll need to just take a tiny little bit off it. So what we've got, I'll get my longer rule. This is when you'll see the lid coming together. When we do the lid, the cutting for the lid. Okay, so we'll lock that in. So we know we're done there. And I'll need to go to my drop saw for a second. And I'll need to just remove my miter cutting set up on the saw so I can cut this square. So I may have to just go off camera for a tick, guys. But what I'll do is I'll get my measurements first. So now if I just sit my rule in there and bring it along to that point in the miter, which is there. So if I make that about 104, 105, so I'll get my pencil, and if I go 104 that way, and then for this one I probably want to go I got that right, 207. Yeah, 207. Just check that, make sure I got the right size. Yeah, 207. Okay. So 207. That way. Okay. I shall return. I've just got to go over there at the drop saw, and I might just be a couple of minutes, guys. I just can't get a camera over here at the moment, so I'm working on that one though. I'm working on that. Right, I just need to get my miter cutting one away, and I need to bring in my square cut one. This is just the jigs on my saw bench, on my table saw, on my drop saw, sorry. Pretty quick to put it together, so no big deal. So that's me set up now. So now all I got to do is transfer those marks, those sizes onto this board, but I need to check. I think it's all square anyway. So we'll just check. Yep, that's square with that. That's square with that. That's square. That ends out a little bit. So we'll work off that end. And we need to make that 207 on the nose. So I was reasonably accurate with my measurements. I mean, I did want it slightly bigger, so that's good. So 207, is that mark there, and that should bring us in the ballpark there. And then that was square off of that, so if we measure, that was square there, so if we measure that way on this one, and we wanted 104, I don't think that's right, let me check, yeah it could be, now 114, see, so paste to check twice, cut once, 114 it was, not 104. That's how mistakes happen, it's so easy. So we want 114. So a little bit more to come off that way. That is the bigger lid, that's the smaller lid, so that's good. Okay, I'll just go and cut that and then we should be right to go. I need the power. 2 seconds and I'll be right with you. Beautiful. That was the length. Oh, I must have cut my width mark off. Damn it, damn it. So the width was, oh no, that's 114. Oh, what have I done? No, that was 207, so we cut 207. And we want 114. I must have cut the mark off that I put on there. So 114 is what we want, which is there. Should line up there. You want a little bit of clearance on this because the panel needs to be able to move because it'll expand and contract, but this being a barrel it probably won't do it as much as what timber would normally do, I don't think, but we better still being on that cautious side. That done. So that should be that lid ready. And what we'll do is we'll put the round over on that and then we'll show you the lid together. We'll just check this one now. So we'll do the same thing, we'll check the square. So square that way. That one's not quite square, so that edge will get cut. Right, okay, and that's the importance of having sort of surfaced edges with your face mark showing the edges to work off, you know. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut this one, which is the narrow direction, and I reckon if we cut that round about, that'll bring that in a middle there. We need about 121 on that one. So we come in there 121 and cut that off. Oh, we've only got a tiny slither to take off that one, if that's right. Yep, 121. And we want it off. Yeah, we want it off this edge. So 121. Not taking much off there. We'll cut that one. that's 121. And now the length, because we had one end that wasn't quite square, which I think it was this one. Oh, that one's spot on, this one's slightly out. So we'll clean this one up. That's just cut. There, there, there. So now we want that length. That rebite. So about 196, I reckon, 197, thereabouts. I reckon we get away with 197. So we'll go from there. 197. Oh, we're almost there again. Just a slither. Oh well, that's good. My sizes were more accurate on that one. I was obviously able to measure that one better than the other one. Put them back in there. Now let me see how things are going in your neck of the woods. Razorburn, how are you, buddy? Yeah, if it was green, grey dog, yeah. Alright, I'm just going to take a slither off this end. And that should be that. I'll just unplug that drop saw power. Plug the compressor back in, so we'll need the air again at some stage. Right, so what I'm thinking I'll do is I'll set the panel raising bit so that it comes in about 6 mil or so to start with, and then we'll work on it from there. So let me just get my head straight here now. So that's the top, and I want these edges, well, each edge, top and bottom, are going to get cut. But this will be the top surface. And what I want to do is just get my depth right for the hang on, something's still not right with that. Oh no, that's the other lid. That's for those ones. That's what's getting me. These ones here are for this one. That's better. See how easy it can be, eh? Much better. Much better. But that's how easy you can get yourself lost in amongst it. You know? Okay, I'm going to bite the bullet, and I'm just going to go in and set this bit at what I think we need. Okay, and I think we should be able to use, now let me think about this. So we have a 3.5mm trench. Well, actually it's nearly 4.5. So the top of that cutter needs to be 3mm. Okay, 3mm. So let's just have a looky. We want to drop it down. Might use my bigger rule because it sits better on the table. But I can't see it for the light. That's better. Right, we'll try that. So we'll lock that. Now, that has to go around. Yeah, so we need another fence for this one. And I think I have one for the panel raising bit. So just be, it's this one, my little ply one. That's good. Yeah, I don't know if Corbs is still in, mate, or if he just drops in and out. I'm not sure. But you're going to see something that's getting closer to looking like a box tonight, hopefully. We're starting to get there with the box. I mean, the box itself, well, one of them is completed, basically, just other than the lid being made now, but we've still got a few things to do with the boxes. Right, now, so what we need to do is we're going to be covering up part of that, and I only want to cut in about 7mm to start with, alright? And the reason being is I just want to sneak up on that where I want the panel lid to be, as far as how much round over and how far away from the frame. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to feed through. Now with these types of lids, what I'll do is I'll get a test piece first, something that's about the same thickness as that. That one there probably. Not quite. This one should be. Yep, that's close enough. Close enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take it in, feed it through, so that I can check, do a test cut first. Okay, so the cutter needs to come up a little touch. So we'll just loosen off the micro and bring it up. So Just a little touch, then we'll lock it again. And I'm also going to make it deeper. Well, actually what I'll do is I'll test the thickness first, and then we'll worry about the other one, rather than worrying about two things at the same time. So we'll go again. This is just test cuts, just to make sure we get the right fit. Right, still needs to come up a tiny touch, so we'll just loosen off again. Sneak it up another little bit. Lock her off and go again. That's the test piece there, and as you can see I've put a little tongue on it, and then that's our frame, lid for the frame, and as you can see that fits lovely there. Okay, so it's a lovely fit as far as thickness is concerned. So now all we have to do is get the depth of cut right, and I think what I'll do there is I'll set that to about 10 mil. That's our test piece. So we're going to bring that fence back now till we hit 10 mil. Or maybe even I'll sneak up on that again as well. I'll go 8 there, or about 8.5. We'll try that. And we'll see how we go with that. Let's put that out the way. We're locked off. We're still going to have to go more. Because we've got the radius of the round, that's why it's getting me. So that's 5. So we were 10 mil there. We probably need to go in I reckon we probably need to go another 4 mil or so. Okay, so we'll put that back there out the way. So what have we got there now? So we're going to loosen that. And we'll try about there. Because once we set this, we do both of them. Okay, I should really have myself a little push block here, but it's kind of hard with that mitre there. But anyway, I'll sort something out with that later. Right, let's have a look at that and see how that looks now. So we'll just bring that in just a touch. So just in a tiny little bit. And that should do us now, I think. I think we can probably go around and cut the boards now. So I think we're pretty good there. So that's the fit that I'm looking for. That's probably just a little bit too much. But I've reduced that back. I might even reduce it back just a little touch more. We can always take more if we need to, if it doesn't go together. What I don't want is I don't want the panel being too loose. Okay, so what we're going to do with this one is we're going to do the end grain first. We'll do both the ends and then we'll do the sides, so that way if we get any tear out when we go through, we'll be able to take it off on the sides, okay? So here we go. No tear out. So the initial cut and then we do a clean cut. Do the same on the other side now. That looks too thin. Oh no, a little bit blue, that'll be fine. Keep it just being down a little bit. Didn't do that, did I? That's alright, can go there now. Now, you just try all this together now. So let me get all the pieces. So So that's all the pieces. That was a test piece from earlier. So what we've got now, just make sure that that's got enough gap there, which it has. So that gives us a bit of clearance either side there. And that one's a little bit tight for some reason, so I don't want to force it. Maybe I didn't hold it down enough on the table when I cut it. So you can see it's starting to take shape. So there's the little bow tie in the corner. This one, bow tie there. We've got a raised panel in the middle, which needs to go a little bit more that way. Just strange that that one's tight. I'll run this through again. I maybe just didn't get the pressure right down on it the last time. But that's letting you see the it's letting you see how the lid's going to come together. The nice little bow ties in the corners is just going to be a nice little touch, and a raised panel lid in there. And I just got to get that fitting, so we'll just go again with that. I might just take the cutter up just a tiny little touch, because I did adjust it there before. And that's maybe what's caused it just to so we haven't moved anything, so we'll go again on that. Voila! We are cooking. We are cooking now. We got it. And that means that the lid's loose enough that it's going to have a little bit of movement for the expansion and contraction. It needs to be evened up on the lid. Obviously that'll happen when I glue it up, but it lets you see what the lid's going to look like all sort of together pretty much. This side here is still a little bit tighter than the rest, so I might go on that again as well. There it is. So obviously didn't have it down just quite tight enough. Yeah, that's much better. It needs to be all squared up, sorted out, so it's a bit hard when you've got nothing holding it together, but once I get it in the clamps, it will actually go together and stay together. You can see the panel lid needs to move that way a touch. Probably moved it too much now. Yeah, a little bit too much. Oh, no, still a little bit more. So let me just line up the keys. If I had the little bow ties done, I would have put them in just so that you can see it all complete, but I've got to still cut them yet. So but that lets you see it. Near enough. Just the lining everything up. Now if I had the little keys, they would actually probably line the miters up better for me than doing what I'm doing. But this is just to let you see in the camera anyway how the how it's coming together. So there you go. There's the little raised panel lid, not quite sitting square and proper, but there you go. I think it's going to look quite quite smicky. That's the lid that one's going on. That's the box, sorry, that one's going on. So if we pick that up and sit it on there like that, and just roughly get it lined up. Doesn't want to ply. It's a little bit tighter on this end for some reason. And yet there it goes loose when I pick it up. But that's alright. Like I said, it needs to be clamped up now just to get everything in the right position. Because everything's moving at the moment until I get it in its set place. But there you go, that lets you see it there, kind of thing. Don't worry about everything not lining up, that's just me. So yeah, so that'll be a nice little, oh, you can't really see in that shot, can you? Might need to go to that one. So yeah, so that'll make a nice little box with a panel lid. And we're going to do stuff to the inside as well yet, so we're going to put a nice velvet base in there, and we might even put a couple of little trays and stuff in there as a little keepsake, keeping little bits and pieces in. Right, Amber's off, is she? Wait for a snoozy, Amber. Right, so that's that box. As much as we can do to that tonight, I think. Although I do have to parallel that one and square that one up, so we'll probably do that. What are we going? We're gone just 2 hours. We might call it a night at that, I think, guys. But what I'll do is before Saturday, I'll try and get this lid machined up, the same as the other one. I may even try and glue the lid up so that the lid's a finished lid at that stage. What I might do though is I might just parallel that top up now, and I've still got to cut that base as well. But what I'll do is I'll just parallel this one up now, because I'd like to get that done. That needs to be done before we can go any further with this other box, because this one's fairly uneven on the corners and the top, beautiful on the bottom, and it sits perfectly flat. As you can see, there's no, movement there. But I do need to trim up around the top like we done with the other one. So that'll only take me 2 seconds to do, and then we'll call it a night, I think, guys. We're just over the 2 hours now. So we'll take this panel raising bit out. Oh. And I'll put my other 1/2 inch spiral cutter in. So give that one a clean up so she's ready for the next time. Put that one away. I'll go and get my 1/2 inch one. Now these spiral cutters are really good. That's a 1/2 inch spiral. They're as sharp as a razor blade though, so you've got to be very careful how you handle them. You've probably seen in, I think it was the last stream, where I actually put a small small nick in my finger with a small one that I used. You only need to touch these and they'll bite. So they are very, very sharp. Right, now what I'm going to do is we're going to parallel this one up. So what I'll do is I'll drop the bit down till we're just above the board, which that's probably enough there. Yep, that's enough there, maybe up just a touch. Okay, we'll lock that in. And what I'll do is I'll take this fence off now because we're finished with that one. And we're going to be running along this bench again from side to side. So what I'll do is I'll put the other big long one in again. Was it the long one we used? Yeah, I think. Yeah, we just needed that flat edge, so we go that way. So I'll sit that over there. Yeah, so I don't know, did Cobbs come back in or did he just come in and say good day and go? Cobb's been doing a little bit of handiwork himself as well. Right, so we'll get this one in place. We'll need the clamp. That's not bad there. Now what I've got to do this time is I've got to set this up with a cutter again till we find the narrowest point. So if we say take that to there, you can't really see what I'm doing behind the fence here, but it's the same as what we done the last time, except we're doing it all the way around on this box because we know the feet are correct. So where the feet are, we know that's right. That's going to be taking a bit there and just a little bit there. So we're pretty much on the money where we need to be with this. So that's where we, so now what we're going to do with this one is we're going to go all the way around and make this one exactly parallel and even all the way around. Okay, make sure everything's tight. And again, we keep our hands clear of that bit. So that's us done that front edge here, you can see there. Now we'll do the side edge here. Change it to camera 3 and see if that makes any difference. just nice there. Let's take that one off now. Like that. Now we just got this one edge here now. So this edge just here. So I'll just drop that bit down out the way now, so I don't cut myself on it. So what I've done is I've gone all the way around on the 4 sides now, and as you can see it's a nice clean cut. And what that does is, because the box is already sitting flat on its 4 feet, what we've done is we've made everything the same size between there and there, there and there, there and there, there and there, okay? And that are parallel, that's parallel, that's parallel. So basically now if I turn that box over, it's going to sit perfectly flat on there too. There's no high spots or low spots. Okay, so that box is now ready basically to start finishing off inside, and also putting the panel lid together, which will sit on there like a side. Yep, so that panel lid will go on there, like such. You get the drift. And it's sitting perfectly flat on the top of that box now, because you know everything's square and flat and parallel. So the only thing that has to happen is that little lid has to move over once we glue it to keep everything right. But yeah, there's our little panel box lid with our little bow ties in the corners. This gap here is bigger than this gap, so the whole thing needs to go that way, but we'll sort that out once we do the glue up. Okay, so that's it for tonight, guys. I hope you found that interesting. It's been a long time since I've done any stuff like this, so I used to do a lot of this by hand years and years ago, but it's been a long time since I've done it, and I just wasn't sure how I was going to go with it all, so I thought, oh, take my time, just play around, get it right, and yeah, it seems to be working okay. It's coming together. So like I said, we're going to do some work for the insides. We're going to put some things in the inside, little trays and little dividers. I'm going to put some velvet lining or felt lining in the base, so we'll probably do that in Saturday's stream. Hopefully I'll have the lids glued up for Saturday, but if not, it might be part of the stream if I don't get the time to do it. I will get this other, I should have left that set up the way I had it, but I get this lid done as well, and that one can be glued up. That box is pretty much ready now to have the inside done in it. So yeah, so anyway, I hope you found that interesting. I'll try and get the little, see if I can get some time to get the little bow ties made up as well, because the bow ties will help hold those miters together, and then I can position the panel within the frame better. But anyway, guys, that's it for tonight. You guys have enjoy yourselves for the rest of the week, and we'll catch up with you on Saturday, eh? So until then, you guys all take care, stay safe, you know the deal. Stay safe, don't do nothing I wouldn't do, and we'll see you all on Saturday morning, and we'll put some of the nicer finishing touches to these boxes. Yeah, so until then, we'll see you on Saturday. Cheers guys, cheers for now.